What is up, everyone? And this is going to be the first video of a series of videos based on Amazon PPC advertising. Now, in this video, we're just going to keep it super simple, going to cover the main fundamentals or giving you an overview of what Amazon PPC ads are and how they work. So in this video, we're going to be covering how PPC ads work. A lot of sellers keep on asking, do we even need PPC? So we're going to talk about the essential or fundamental benefits of PPC and whether there's any instances where you can get away without doing any PPC advertising. Then we're going to talk about the ultimate goal. So not just the ultimate goal from PPC ads, but the ultimate goal that we need to have on Amazon. And then that's going to bring back more context on whether the PPC ads are going to be effective to achieving that ultimate goal. And lastly, we're going to cover the 4 different types of advertising options available on Amazon. And I'm also going to be showing you a video example on how they pop up on a search page using mobile. So just to keep things simple, I'm not going to go into too much details on the technicalities, but giving you a brief overview of how the pay-per-click advertising works. So essentially, as the name suggests, it's a pay-per-click model. Right, so customers click on the sponsored listing. Every time they click on it, you will get charged. Now, keep in mind, it is unique visitors or unique clicks. So if the same person keeps clicking the sponsored listing, they go back and they click on it again, you're only going to be charged once. There is an attribution window, so after that, you will be charged again. But as I mentioned, I want to keep it simple. So just keep in mind, it's per unique click. Now, this is an auction-based system, right? So every time you set a bid, Amazon will put that bid in the auction, and then you're competing against other bids that might be from your competitors to get that slot that are sponsored. And unlike Google, where the highest bidder always gets the click, or the highest bidder always gets the sponsored slot, Amazon works a bit different. They are more customer centric, so instead of giving it to the highest bidder, they take into consideration a few different things like conversion history, maybe your reviews, your sales velocity, what kind of keywords you're indexed for, and all of those factors combined, then they basically prioritize who should get that slot. Now, sponsored slots, they usually show up on search pages, and they also show up on product detail pages. Okay. Now, do we need PPC? So the way I like to explain this is, just to give you guys an analogy, keep in mind that Amazon is like think of it as a big mall. And I apologize, guys, if there's background noise coming in. It's raining outside, and I'm in Bali, so it might be trickling into the mic, in the audio as well. So think of Amazon as a big mall, and within a big mall, basically when you open up your first listing, think of that as a store tucked away somewhere in the basement so no one can see you. There's very little traffic that goes into the basement, and you're basically competing in the biggest mall in the world. There's probably like million stores out there, right? And I'm talking about listings. So think of how big Amazon is. There's millions of listings available on Amazon. So that's what you're competing on, and people just can't find you. You're tucked away somewhere in the basement. So what are the chances for someone to just organically find you from day one? Literally close to none. It's pretty much impossible at that point, right? So the only way to get in front of people is if you already know some people, meaning you have like a list outside of Amazon that you can target and say, hey, we launched on Amazon and come and shop from us. Or you pay Amazon and say, hey, listen, we're in the basement. Is there a chance you can get us somewhere close to the entrance so that people can find us? Our store is phenomenal. And you might have like the best store, meaning you might have like the best listing on Amazon, but it won't matter because there's literally no traffic because you're somewhere in the basement. So you need to get in front of people. If by paying Amazon, you can get a spot closer to the entrance. Okay, that's how I think about it. So in the beginning, you're going to rely a lot on ads because every time you pay, they're going to put you close to the entrance, and then people will come. And over time, what you want to do is just show Amazon that, hey, listen, we've got all these people coming in, and they really like our product. So they're going to look at the conversions, the sales velocity, the 5-star reviews. What are people saying about this product? You know, are they buying this product every time we showcase them at the entrance? Are they talking about relevant keywords in their listing? Meaning, you know, the people that they want to target, or the stuff that they're selling. Do people, whenever we put them in that slot, is it relevant to those people? So that's what is going to show trust with Amazon, and over time you will organically get the spot. So it's going to bump you up in the ranking, and if we put it in the context of this small example, basically they're going to give you sort of like a permanent spot in a better location. Think about it that way, right? So it's important to understand how the Amazon algorithm works, because that's the basis of how you're going to get the organic spot. And it's basically, the whole algorithm is designed to get customers to their desired product with the least amount of clicks. They want to get them as soon as possible. So showing them a listing that is going to be super relevant, high converting, great feedback from customers, that is essentially what they will favor and prioritize on the organic search pages. Okay. Now in the long run, once you have organic sales coming in, you can look into adjusting your bids and maybe lower down the rank on sponsored listings. And so as an example, if on a specific keyword you're ranked in the top 3 or top 5, maybe showing up as a top spot on sponsored listings is probably not the best approach. So you can let go of the advertising, reduce the bid a little bit. So you would still need to run PPC on it, because again, keeping in mind, these sponsored listings, they do tend to show up sometimes even before the organic placement. So it's better to show up multiple times if possible on a search page or a product page. So you would still want to run PPC, but just there may not be a need to run as aggressively as you would in the start when you're not ranked. And the reason I say top 5 is what we've seen is typically the top 5 slots, organic slots, they usually get about 60 to 70% of all the traffic, of all the clicks. So if you're outside of the top 5, pretty much you have a very small chance of getting clicked on, getting noticed. That's how competitive it is. People like to just shop from the top spots, because Amazon does a really good job of showing them that the top listings are usually the ones that are going to work out for them. Okay, now there are 3 instances where you can get away with almost little to no PPC. So I do want to cover that, and most likely your product is not going to be in any out of the 3 situations that we talk about. Maybe like 10% of the people might fall into this category. So the first one is when you have a very unique product. So it's a completely unique technology, completely unique product. No one else in the market is offering that, and it already has an existing demand. So just being a unique product that no one wants is not the way to go. It has to be unique, and there has to be some sort of demand for it on the platform. And the chances of that happening are pretty much close to none, because people get to market really quickly. You're competing with big brands that have almost divisions of people just doing product research. So they jump on trends much faster than someone who is just looking to have a side hustle and trying to quit their 9 to 5. The second scenario is when you have a product that has repeat customers. So I love these kind of products because you can activate something that's called subscribe and save. Over time, you will get enough repeat buyers, and if you even switch your advertising at that point, you have those people coming and shopping from you anyway. They're not going on Amazon every time and searching for keywords and finding these products. All they're doing is from their order history, either they just pick the product and order it. I think everyone's done that. Or they do subscribe and save, so they are subscribed to automated ordering system. Now the third one is in the instance where you have a buyer list outside of Amazon, and typically this is for brands that are existing outside of Amazon anyway. So at this point, if you fall in this category, chances are, you're doing pretty well on Shopify or brick and mortar, and you're just trying to diversify and get a revenue channel going on Amazon. So yes, with that, if you have a really big list, you can divert some of that traffic to Amazon, and in that case you won't really need PPC. Brands don't really like doing this because, again, why pay Amazon 15% or whatever the referral fee is when you can keep the whole thing to yourself, right? So what is the ultimate goal from all of this? So I want to talk about like a common pitfall that people get into, and even agencies preach that, and they say that PPC is a lot of trial and error. Although that is true to some extent, we have to keep in mind that we just need to focus on the customer. How are they searching for these products? What are some of the keywords that would be relevant to them? And really just figure out, put yourself in the buyer's shoes and figure out how you would search and how your customer experience on Amazon is going to look like. And you just kind of pick those keywords and put those into your advertising. So even though, yes, there will be a lot of trial and error, because even if you think about it, you're not going to be able to cover all the keywords that are out there, right? So maybe setting up campaigns that can do some brainstorming on your behalf is going to help, but it's a good start to put yourself in the shoes of the customer, and then you can find out from there and diversify more. Now, there's two main ways to target ads, and that's going to be relevant to the ad types that we're talking about. The first one is keywords, and the second one is ASINs. And when I say ASINs, if you don't know at this point, ASINs are just unique identifiers for listings, and we're talking about competitor ASINs in these cases. So what are the two ultimate goals that we should be aiming for? The first one is to get market share on relevant keywords. Think of keywords as markets, as industries that you operate in. So you want to dominate those keywords. You want to be in the top 5 spots. As I mentioned, top 5 usually get 70% of the clicks. So if you're not in top 5, you're pretty much distributing 30% with the rest of the landfill. And usually there's like 15, 20, 30 pages of just listings for each and every keyword. But the reality is top 5 get 70%. So being specific is going to be really helpful. If it's, let's say, yoga mats, maybe your yoga mat is different, it's more thicker. So you want to be more specific with the keywords. And the more specific you are, the higher the chances of you getting the spot. Now, keeping in mind, as you go more specific, the search volume also reduces because there's less people searching for it. So yes, it is much better to rank for the broader keywords, but again, just what we covered in the previous section, because Amazon takes into account conversions, reviews, so many different data points, it's going to be hard for you to be ranked on broader keywords because you just don't have that history that some of the other brands might have. So you want to start small. You want to start with specific keywords, get ranked on that, and then ultimately work your way to the more broader keywords. The second goal is to outperform your competitor listings, okay? So their sales aren't relevant. Although it is a good benchmark, it's a good indicator to compare with your competitors how you're doing in terms of sales, because a lot of the estimates are available to us, but it's not a good indicator to base your success on. And because the chances are they might be selling for a longer period of time than you, so their sales might naturally be high, okay? But what you need to compare and what is relevant is the product and the listing itself. So some of the things that you want to look for is, how is my product compared to the competitors? Am I offering something unique? Am I offering something that's in addition to them? Maybe it's a bundle, maybe I'm giving away an extra item. You want to work on the product and really see if your product is better or your offering is better than what the competitors are selling. Secondly, it is a price sensitive platform. So a lot of the products, and I mean like more than 80% of it, are going to come down to, is my price better than the competition, or at least is it in the same range as a competition. Reviews and ratings matter a lot because, again, customers, they rely on feedback from other customers. Literally, there's 3 voices on Amazon, right? So you've got the voice from the customer, you've got the voice from Amazon giving you badges like top rated or number 1 seller, and then you've also got the voice from yourself, the brand itself, and that is done with the help of content. So are my listing images, my video, my A+ content, are they up to par? Did I do a good job in explaining what the product is and what the features and benefits are? So keeping in mind, a lot of new sellers, they fall into the rut of focusing too much on the aesthetics of it, but it's a platform, it's a marketplace. So what's more important is the information rather over the aesthetics. And if you look at some of the Asian marketplaces, I said markets, but what I meant was marketplaces. If you look at the Asian marketplaces, they have a very unique and completely different shopping experience to what you see on Amazon. And the reason is, they've become more sophisticated. And if you see some of the listings there, there's very little focus on the aesthetic side of it. When you are looking at mass choice, when you have an abundance of choices, basically functionality is what takes the precedence. So what is the product really offering to me? What are some of the benefits that I'm going to get with this? Those are more important than whether or not the images or the video looks good. Now again, every product is going to, the strategy for the content is going to vary, right? So some products, let's say if it's a coffee maker, if I see a phenomenal video, I'm going to be sold. I would want to buy a product like that. But if it is let's say let's think of an example. If it's a first aid kit, as an example, now I want to see what really comes with that kit. Am I getting more based on some of the other listings? What am I getting exactly? But if I'm maybe shopping for an adapter, then I'm looking for compatibility with my devices. Is it really specific to what I'm looking for? So really the strategy for content depends on the product itself. It's going to vary from product to product. That being said, the information is going to be there. It's going to stay consistent with each and every product. Although I might be sold on a really high-end commercial video for a coffee maker, I'm still going to think about some of the benefits or some of the features that I'm thinking about that are important to me while I'm making a decision. And some of those features might be, does it have like temperature control? Can I customize my brews? Maybe like the cup sizes or the strength of it. Does it have a filtration system? How easy is it to clean? Maybe there's a few other features and benefits that I'm looking for as well. So your listing needs to speak about those things. And if you're not speaking about those, then unfortunately the conversions are going to go down, because when customers have questions on their mind, they need to get answered. Otherwise, they're just going to get into a window shopping mode and just go from your listing to the other listings that are sponsored on your product page. Okay? So when you're thinking about creatives, and especially if you've worked with us in the past, just look at the plan. The plans are the most important thing, because they cover the concepts of what features we're going to cover and how we're going to cover those features. The aesthetics you may not agree with. It's very subjective. We can run split tests. What people prefer varies very different from person to person. But the information everyone can agree on. So the only way to achieve, now coming back to those 2 goals, the only way to achieve these 2 goals is if we periodically compare our products with the competition and see if we're out competing them when it comes to our product and our listing. So we constantly have to work on our products. Even if you launch a product and you get negative feedback, don't look at negative feedback as something that's a deal breaker. Just take it as feedback that you can send back to the supplier and then work with them to improve the product's experience over time. And same thing you need to do with the listing. Whenever you see there is information that was maybe crucial, that was missed in the images or video, keep coming back to it. Maybe, adding an extra image that talks about a feature that was missed initially is going to be a key differentiator of your success on Amazon. And same thing with the price, reviews, ratings. Just keeping a pulse on it, being on top of that is going to help you achieve these two goals. And when we get to that matured listing stage, typically you can expect a 70-30 split. So 70% is coming from organic, 30% is coming from PPC in terms of sales. And that is the only way, that is the only way you can become profitable on Amazon, because then you have a majority of the chunk coming in from organic, where you can keep higher margins, as opposed to PPC, which eats into your margins. And initially, again, keeping in mind, you will have to incur a lot of PPC costs and you will have to incur a loss. It is just the nature of the game. But in 4 to 6 months' time, you want to get to profitability. So if you're really low on cash flow, your goal should be to get to profit as soon as possible. But if you can maintain a loss for a while, the goal should be to get to the $10,000 that is basically the program. In this whole content hub, we're showing you strategies on how to effectively move the needle so you can get to from $0 to $10,000 per month as soon as possible. Okay. Now, lastly, we want to talk about the 4 different types of advertising. So we've got sponsored product ads. So this is going to be the most common one, and in the initial stages, this is probably going to be the only one that you want to use. And when you have a good ad distribution, when your listing has matured, you will notice that 60% of the ad spend is coming from sponsored product ads. And that's what we notice on our end just by looking at portfolios of companies that we've managed. 60% of their advertising is sponsored products. So even though you're relying pretty much 100% in the beginning stages on sponsored product ads, keep in mind that they're going to be the dominant one. The majority of the spend is still going to go to SPA down the line. And usually when you're searching on Amazon, you'll notice that the first few listings are always sponsored product ads. Okay. Then we move on to the sponsored brand ads. So sponsored brand ads were previously called headline search ads, and basically they're the first thing that shows up on the search page. Even though I said first few listings, this is basically not a listing. So you're targeting keywords, but instead of a listing, you're promoting a brand. So it goes directly to the storefront. If you have one, that's perfect. If you don't, then you can't really run sponsored brand ads because you don't have a storefront. And typically, even at a mature stage, you're only spending about 10% of your whole budget on sponsored brand ads. Okay. Then we talk about the third one, which is video ads. This can be a game changer, because video ads, they're really hard to miss. Okay, and there used to be a time where Amazon would only allow like one video ad, and even at that time, we really emphasized on the importance of video ads because it was just one video that was showing up on search page. But obviously, with time, Amazon makes it more competitive, and now you see multiple slots coming in for video ads. Now, they're going to be typically more expensive than sponsored product ads, but they also have a higher conversion rate just because, you can preview what the product is, what the benefits are just from the video, and then when you go onto the listing, when you click on it, you have a lot more conviction as a buyer. So the conversions usually tend to be higher on average than sponsored product ads. So it's more expensive, the cost per click is higher, but it also has a higher conversion rate. So what we notice is sometimes the video ads are much more profitable, or they're performing much better than sponsored product ads or even brand ads for that matter. And then lastly, we talk about display ads. This is going to be something that will kick in for you maybe like 8-9 months down the line, so you don't have to worry about this in the beginning. They basically appear scattered and will take up 10% of your ad budget even when you get to the mature stage. And display ads have their own little purpose, right? So they're great for retargeting, they're great for top of the funnel traffic, and really it's to drive brand awareness. And that is why Amazon also shows them in different areas. So not just the search page or the product page, they'll show it on the home page, review section, and also off of Amazon on certain apps. And the great thing about display ads is they will also, if you're running a coupon or if you're running a deal, it'll show that on the sponsored slot. So really quickly before I end this video, I want to show you a live example. This is, I basically searched yoga mats on Amazon, and I recorded this video. So it's not a live example, but I recorded this video just before shooting this video, just to show you guys how the sponsored slots show up on Amazon. And the reason I'm showing you this mobile display is because 60 to 70% of the shoppers today shop on mobile. In fact, I think it's even more than that. It's probably close to 75%. So it's a, one thing I would highly recommend is anytime you're doing research, make sure you're looking at the mobile experience rather than the desktop, because again, 3 out of 4 people are shopping mobile. So it's important to keep that in mind. So let's look at this example. Over here, as I mentioned, sponsored brand ads. This is the first one that shows up, and again, it goes to the storefront. And from here, you see sponsored. This is an organics. This is sponsored. So these are all like the sponsored product ads. As I mentioned, they're like the first ones to show up. This one is also a form of sponsored ads, sponsored product ads. And again, it's just different ways Amazon shows you these sponsored listings. They're trying to get more creative as they go along, as people get sophisticated, and usually there's a stigma around sponsored listings. So even when you're browsing on Google, you see sponsored listings or sponsored websites, you tend to shy away from that. So I think Amazon does a really good job in terms of like sneaking in sponsored listings, because they're hard to notice and you can't really tell which one's sponsored, which one is organic. So there's a lot more trust from customer side. This one is a great example of the video ad. So yeah, this brand Gaiam is really killing it, because they're pretty much hitting it from all angles. So this is what it looks like when you have all the 4 different ad types running. Again, another video ad that's showing up. Over here, this is an example of a display ad, but it's showing up a bit differently. It's showing you, let me just get back to that. It's showing you in terms of like different brands that would be relevant to your keyword search. So let's continue. So as I mentioned, this is the display ads. This one is again a sponsored brand ad, because it's going back to that same brand, going to their storefront. This is again sponsored product ads. We haven't seen a display ad yet. Another example of reviews or ratings based this sponsored product ads. Some more sponsored product ads. So as you can see, like there is just so many sponsored listings that even if you're ranked organically, you're just kind of lost, because people will really not be able to discover you. And over here we have another video ad, and right here, guys, is a sponsored display ad where the coupon is also showing. So again, a great example of how coupons, if you're leveraging coupons, getting a display ad running is really gonna push that out, because they can actually, customers can see the coupon on a display ad. So hopefully that was helpful. We kind of went through how the search page looks like with all the different advertising types. So hopefully that gives you guys clarity. This is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.